He's built a robust career in technology, space, and international collaboration, and he's held key positions at organizations such as CERN, ESA, Air Centre, and the European Southern Observatory as well. His work focuses on planning and executing programs in Portugal's space sector, aiming to strengthen the country's global presence in this field. Emir, welcome. Can you just start by maybe telling me a little bit about Portugal's history in space before the NSP, the New Space Program, came along, New Space Portugal came along?
Yeah, Alok, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Let's try to have an inspiring afternoon. I was working in space many years ago, 15 years ago, and I followed really the evolution of the space sector in Portugal. And Portugal started in the space sector around 23 years ago, so it's a quite nascent ecosystem. It's an ecosystem that I think it's important to mention, that is within the European, let's say, context. It's an ecosystem that is trying to contribute to this European context. That today has many challenges. US, clearly, and we saw this morning, is driving the global space economy. No one talked about China. China is one of the players that will certainly appear with new technologies and will be a space economy power. And Europe today faces the challenge of trying to be more competitive, to have even more investment funding available for the space ecosystem, and somehow be unique in what it positions. And Portugal, I think what Portugal has been building during these 2 decades puts us in a position now to try to be unique and contribute to Europe positioning in this global space race that Europe cannot be losing and should be there to work with the global ecosystem.
Well, tell me how New Space Portugal, which you run, how does that fit into this constellation of ideas within Europe to try and position Europe as an alternative or as at least a competitor to the rest of the world?
New Space Portugal was an opportunity for Portugal. It was funded by the Next Generation EU funds, funding around 180 million euros, really to accelerate the space ecosystem. We, as a group of companies, and maybe I have to highlight this is quite important, is that the New Space Portugal program, as a leader, is Geosat, is a leader operator of Earth observation satellites, very high resolution in Portugal, that competes with Airbus at European level. And this leadership of Geosat contributed a lot to the industry to accelerate in the, 5 to 10 years and to have a unique offer towards Europe. So how we are seeing New Space Portugal as a group of companies and other entities, we are looking, and we approached this during the morning, we are looking from the downstream to the upstream, really looking to what are the markets that are there, because this program is oriented to the Earth observation market, and what we are developing that really, in the end, has an economic return for the country, and again, this unique position in Europe. So this is our vision. I think I just go back a little bit, and I think Europe also in this global space race needs a vision. So, and we are starting the vision year from Portugal with New Space Portugal program. I would like to emphasize when I talk about Earth observation in this program is that we are developing 3 constellations. Earth observation constellations, there is another constellation related to communications, and also we are going to launch a SAR satellite within the program. And this, of course, put us here again in a unique positioning, because we are developing this capacity here in Portugal after these so many years developing this internally with so many entities and so many companies. emphasizing and adding to what I said, I think it's quite important, is that on the constellations that we are developing, we have a flagship initiative that is called the Atlantic Constellation. And this constellation will have Earth observation satellites with two key characteristics: high revisit and very high resolution. Again, with the purpose that this constellation can serve market opportunities in security, in sustainability, and also in defense.
Can you be specific? So what kinds of examples of businesses or uses are you talking about when it comes to those three sectors?
So in terms of, and I start with sustainability and maybe a little bit back to when I started talking about Europe. In the global context, Europe needs to be also unique. And sustainability certainly is a wide sector, and we saw the presentation before lunch that agriculture is a big challenge and needs satellite data. But two applications that we are developing in the program at this stage in test phase is around carbon mapping and also fires, because in Portugal we have this huge problem that we need to understand which are the areas that the fires could occur, and even when the fires occur, we need to understand which areas are affected and mitigated, because this affects local communities. In security, also coastal monitoring is an area that we are exploring. We have a big exclusive economic zone, maybe one of the biggest in Europe, and our armed forces, and this I want to make an highlight, they are working with us in the agenda, in the program. The Portuguese Air Force is working in one of the areas of SAR technology. So coastal monitoring is definitely important for our armed forces, and we are developing here a solution in this area of security. Lastly, in defense, also, and I mentioned about armed forces and the Portuguese Air Force, is understanding which are the critical infrastructures that could be affected by extreme events or other phenomena, and monitor this in a continuous way so that we can mitigate any potential situations that we could have.
These applications you're talking about, which seem really interesting and can obviously have economic as well as security benefits. I'm wondering, where does the skills lie in this country? Do you have the skills and the sort of pipeline of talent that you need to sort of make this into a going concern?
Great question. When this program started in 2022, I joined in 2023. And in these 2 years, what we managed to do was that we managed to attract high qualified human resources, attract talent, senior managers that were working in companies like OHB or Airbus in Europe that returned to Portugal to work in the program. We managed to attract international resources at senior level that were working in other space companies in Europe, and they returned to Portugal to work in the program, and we are retaining talent. So we have a rich academia environment that is creating a lot of aerospace engineers, but other engineering areas, and we are retaining this talent to work in the program. So we clearly, with the program in 2 years, we managed to build this talent, and in terms, maybe just as a figure, we created today close to 200 jobs just with New Space Portugal.
How important is this project and this plan to sort of build the space industry here to the government, to this country as well? How importantly do they see it as a way of, securing the space infrastructure, to creating jobs, developing the economy? How important is it?
I think today, and this was said in the morning, is that we have a unique opportunity, correct? We work in the European context. We have 27 countries with different priorities. But here in Portugal, we have all the ingredients in terms of capacity building, because as I said, we are developing and integrating satellites here in Portugal, producing them, and we're gonna launch them for all the constellations I mentioned. We have a pool of talent that it's quite unique, and we have to think in the next decade. What we're doing now, we need to understand that, again, the global space economy and the statistics, they show that it will continue to grow. I think there was a figure made by the president of USPA, at least just in that association, we're talking about a $500 billion opportunity. So therefore, we have all the ingredients to be a player and be successful from Portugal in Europe and to the world. I think underlining this, and if you were on the government side, I would say that Portugal can become a key space hub, focusing on the downstream, and be really a differentiator within Europe.
Yeah, and is there a country or an organization that you look up to when it comes to building up the infrastructure you've got here? You're at a particular stage where you're really fighting for this in this country and fighting for the position of Portugal in the wider space arena. Who else has done what you want to do? And maybe you've done it many years before, but are there people you look up to for that? Or take inspiration?
Of course. We, in the space ecosystem, we have more than 2 decades of experience of working with the European Space Agency. There are many countries with the size of Portugal, with the same, I would say, very similar characteristics, but we have a very strong collaboration with Spain. I mentioned again and highlight the Atlantic Constellation is a flagship program of New Space Portugal and for the country, and this is being done in collaboration with Spain. I think we are following the same steps, because the same steps, what is it? Is really to consolidate the space sector in the countries for us to be more competitive. And if we are more competitive, we have better ecosystem, we have better companies, we have better talent. We can attract, and I'm sure there are some investors here, we can attract that private capital to make the companies succeed in the international market. So I think we are, let's say, seeing and collaborating with the countries that have the same ambition that we have.
Yeah, this is a very sort of optimistic vision, and it's something that many countries, as you said, have gone through and made their education and scientific and technical engineering excellence through becoming space powers, essentially. But do you also see any pitfalls? What things might go wrong that you're aware of that you want to try and avoid? Because you suppose you have to have your eyes open to all of the problems that also might come along in this path.
I think space is a risky business. I think everyone here knows. I was talking in lunchtime that this is a sector of geeks, but at the same time, this is evolving quite fast. We are here having this event in a management school, not in an engineering school. So things are evolving. So space is a business opportunity. So business has risks, correct? But I think we have to have the ambition. Again, we are not doing this for next year. We are thinking in the next decade. So we really need to have ambition and confidence that we need to succeed in the space market. This as experience here in Portugal. I really hope, and again, New Space Portugal is a regional initiative funded by the Next Generation EU funds, as I mentioned, that Europe can really be even more agile in the next years to boost investment in space, create the conditions that many of the companies that today are developing all the capacity, have all the talent that they can be successful. So, because this is the only way that we then can succeed in this challenging market and landscape.
Okay, that was a good place to end. Emir, thank you very much for your time. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.